Welcome to episode 40 of Last Ditch Effort. My name is Pacasha, and this is my little YouTube channel where I talk about using up my stash primarily, but sometimes other stuff comes in, and that's okay. So it's primarily a knitting podcast. Sometimes I spin. I do sew, and I may talk about that. I haven't really been that motivated to sew lately, but some things have happened that have, well, I don't know. Every now and then I get a little excited to sew. So I may talk about that a little bit. Anyway, I just wanted to do something really quick to kind of update you because things are about to get really busy at our house with the holidays. So I thought I would just get on here really quickly and show you what I've kind of been working on and what I've been up to. So first things first, what I'm wearing. This is a Hapkerchief cowl by Gudrun Johnston. And it's a garter stitch cowl with a nice little, I don't know, is this old shale or feather and fan? I'm not sure. It's some nice like traditional Shetland pattern. And for the most part, they're just leftovers of Jamieson and Smith and Jamieson of Shetland's spindrift and two-ply jumper weight, whatever. Yeah, that I just threw together. And it kind of reminds me of like grapes, like especially with that kind of waxy bloom that they can get, or like a plum. Oh, that's like my favorite thing about fruit. Like I love that. Okay, that's silly. Anyway, so I'm wearing that. I have knit socks on, but you know, they're down there and I'm up here. So what else? Oh, I made this dress. This is a 100 Acts of Sewing dress number 1. And the fabric is Moonglow. I think Ruby Star Society does it. And it's like my favorite print ever of all time. And I have some tucked away for some more projects, hopefully in the future. But yeah, and it also my pockets, the tops of my pockets, I added some lace from a doily that my great grandma made. Or I don't know that she made it. It was in her sewing kit when I got that. So I just kind of added it to the tops of the patch pockets. And yeah, so that's kind of special for me anyway. Yeah, so a lot's been going on. Probably not as much or as not what I expected that I was talking about last episode, but that's okay. So I did finish an object. This is the Almondine socks by Hanson. And the yarn is Yarnsmith's Merino sock. And it's just like their teal color. It's actually showing up more accurate than usual today. Because it's kind of cloudy, I don't know. But it's that nice petrol blue, greeny, peacocky blue. Anyway, finished those. And they're great. And now I can wear them. Let's see. I don't have any other finished objects, and I didn't work on everything I said I wanted to work on. But that's okay, because that was one of the projects I wanted to finish up. So the next thing I'll show you is kind of my riding in the car, knitting when I'm distracted, watching TV, things like that, knitting. And this is my half and half triangles wrap. And I'm using, oh shoot. Ooh, that was close. It's Purl Soho. It's a Purl Soho pattern. I'm using Purl Soho Linen Quill, which is like, I think, a merino and linen blend. This color's Twig Brown. And the second half of my shawl will be Pale Mushroom. Just let the camera adjust to that. I have finally broken into the third ball, which you need 2.5 per side of it, because it's 2 triangles. So I need 2.5 skeins per color. Yeah, so I'm still not even halfway on this thing, and I've been knitting it for a while, and it's really hard to show you. But I'm half a skein away from joining the next color, so that's exciting. I worked a lot on this this week. you kind of can't tell. I can't tell. It's just huge, and it'll be done when it's done. That's like, because you can't really spread it out very well with, the construction method. It's kind of, it's a little like exasperating. um, it's not demotivating or anything. I mean, there are ways that you can like move a marker up the spine of it, and I don't know. I just feel like I've been knitting it for a long time. I'm not really that upset about it. Yeah, I would like to move on to other things, but it's a nice project. It's very comforting to work on, and I know I'll use it a lot, and I love the yarn, and I love the pattern, and yeah, so I'm almost tempted to, when I get to the halfway point, just going along and picking up along that long edge and doing like a lace border and just doing a half one. I may have to measure the one that I have to see if it would be a good size, because I mean, I would love to have a square one, but honestly, I don't wear my square shawls as often as I wear my triangle ones, just because of the fit. I am really short, like really short. So like having, I don't know, like a lot of things scrunch me down, which I don't care. Like whatever, I'm short. I embrace it. I'm not trying to look taller or anything. But it does mean that I feel like things get a little stuffy sometimes. So I think that's why I prefer like cowls, and just things that kind of are light, because I just feel like I'm already very round, and that just kind of adds to the gumdrop shape of me. So yeah. That's it. So I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll do some measurements. So maybe that project will change a little bit in the future. I'm not really sure. Let me get a drink of water. It's super dry here, so pardon me. I didn't realize that I would be this dry, or I would have done something about it beforehand. Okay. So the next thing I've been working on, I'm super excited to show you. It's new. I was talking about making some some kits for my knitting, our local knitting group, a bunch of friends that get together, and a lot of them are new knitters, and they wanted to try socks. And some of them didn't necessarily want to try socks right away, but we got them little kits. Like my friend Alicia and I like made these little kits. We are using Jill Draper in Cheerwine, and this is just some undyed BFL and nylon. Barstow, I think, is the Jill Draper. Anyway, and so I made like silly little bags and stitch markers, which you can probably hear. They've got little jingle bells. And then I kind of, for those of us that wanted to use a chart, we could use a chart, or you could do stripes, or, whatever. Anyway, different things for different levels of skills, right? So I didn't come up with this. Let's backtrack. There is an Instagrammer that I follow. Her name is Olivia, and she goes by ThisHandmadeLife, and I absolutely love her socks, and I've made several of her patterns. She posted this sock, and she didn't have it released as a pattern. She only posted it, I think, like once or twice, and it was just like a fleeting thing. I don't know if she's going to release it, but I was instantly like drawn to the chart, and I knew I wanted it. Pardon me. And so I went looking. I'm so sorry. Let me drink again. So I went looking for this pattern or this chart or some way, basically to, I wanted to support Olivia's chart. However, I couldn't find anything, so I just zoomed in and made the chart myself. Now, I'm not going to release this at all. If you want the chart, I will give you the chart. Like, just, you can email me, or it's just my first name, which is down below at Gmail. Or you can message me on Instagram or Ravelry or anywhere, and I'll work on like just like a PDF or something like that. I don't know, or I may put it up on my project page as just one of the photos, because it's really just a very simple chart, but it's like this little candy cane stripe. And eventually, if Olivia does release this pattern, I'm sure she'll have like more to it, because her socks are always so well constructed and there's always these tiny details that really make it. And mine is just basic like 64 stitch sock, and then you have to increase to make the stitch count work, and then I am using this color for the heel, and then I'm just doing like stripes on the bottom. Anyway, so this is the first sock. It's a little candy cane sock, and I'm sorry for the jingling, but also I'm not, because it's kind of cute. So you can see, like, I started with magic loop, and I am not a magic loop knitter. I don't enjoy it. So after, or when I got to the heel, I went back to dpns, but I don't like my knitting right there. And also the yarn is two different sizes, essentially. They don't exactly play well together, but I hadn't worked with the Barstow, and Alicia had. I don't know, like I wanted, like the rustic yarn was great to me, but they didn't have any natural, so I just kind of grabbed some undyed stuff that I had, and they just don't play perfectly well together, hence how kind of crazy it is. But I'm hoping with blocking that will kind of even out a little bit. Either way, it's still really cute. They're still going to be super cute socks. So I'm past the decreases for the heel, and so it's just a straight shot down, and then I'll do probably, I'm concerned about running out of the red. I know I won't, but that's just me. I worry constantly, but I don't know. We'll see what color the decreases will be, but yeah, that's my next project. And I've actually spent a lot of time knitting this, going back, fixing things. I wasn't quite sure how I would do some of this stuff. Yeah, so, but then I kind of put that down because I don't know. This time of year is an interesting time for a lot of people, and me included. So there's that. Won't be done by Christmas at all. I'm not really worried about it. I'll wear them any time of year. So the main thing I want to talk about, I'm so excited. Yesterday, I got to go to a class at Acer in Santa Fe, put on by Gudrun Johnston. I think her brand is Shetland Trader. She has been a favorite designer of mine for years. Obviously, this is one of her patterns, and I've made, I think, 4 or 5 of these things. Just these. Like, I've made tons of her hats, tons of everything. Recently, I've been kind of collecting some of her older books that have a lot of garments in them, because I think next year I'm going to try a few more garments. Anyway, I got to take a colorwork class with her yesterday, and it was fantastic. I loved it so much. She is so knowledgeable, and she is so warm, and just like so kind, and it was just such a good experience. I mean, every woman in that class, because it was, of course, all ladies. That's just the culture, the knitting culture around here, it seems. But it was just such a great group of people sitting around and being supportive, and everybody had successful projects, and we all learned from each other and our color choices, because we all did different color swatches. And basically what we did is Gudrun gave us a chart, and we talked about like picking colors to make successful color work. Now, I've done a lot of color work, a lot, and I know like a lot of color theory, because I did go to, I have an unfinished art degree. Let's put it that way. But kind of when I'm knitting, I just pick the colors that I like, and I just throw them together. And I know like you should, do different values, and do like, I know like the theory about it, but the hands-on and just seeing like the success or the fail, there weren't really any failures, but just it was just totally different seeing it in person. I'll just put it that way. And having help and thinking about things differently, and it was just different. And I think my color work will definitely improve from here on out, because I know, like, I have projects that I consider successful that maybe a lot of people wouldn't, especially like traditional, Fair Isle knitters. But I can see more like what the traditional, you know, I want to say color value. That's really the main thing, is the value, not so much actual colors that you're using, but the actual values, and pairing those values together, which I find very tricky. Um, and it's really one of those things that you only learn by doing. So the class was super helpful because we had, 8 people, 8 different ways of doing it. And you see that in real time, like having to change things, or, what their preferences are. So anyway, so we made this swatch, and I'll hold it up. So these are all like Jamieson's of Shetland, Spindrift. I think that's Woolbrokers is the name, their brand name. And it was a really fun way to do a swatch, basically an in the round swatch without it being in the round. So that was fun to do. And so we had super long tails. This is a very cleaned up version of what we did. And then at the end of the class, we steeped it. And, we learned some tips and tricks on that. And then, she was available to help us pick yarn for other projects, and just talking about like the history of, Fair Isle knitting, and her experiences. And I don't know, like, it was just such a lovely, lovely day. I haven't had the opportunity to take a lot of classes. I don't have a lot of experience in that, but I can tell you it was so worth it. It was just so amazingly worth every penny and moment of time of my life to be in that class with those people. So I had a great time yesterday, and yeah, I learned a lot, and I'm super so inspired to knit some color work. And that's fortunate because there was a lot of yarn there, and patterns and ideas. So let me show you. I'm not going to show you everything that I bought, because I am not a haul channel at all. I don't encourage that. I mean, if that's your thing, that's great, but I am actively trying not to be that person that buys a lot of yarn and gets stressed out about it, because you know what? I am a person that has bought too much yarn, and I'm stressed out about it. So anyway, this week she released a pattern. Gudrun released a pattern called the Ert. I hope I'm saying that right. The Ert mitts. And so I actually cast this on before the class, and got the cuff done to the color work. But now I think I may have to rethink some, I learned some things, and so I'm actually going to put those into practice instead of just being my usual self where I'm like, I'll just do what I want to do. No, like, I'm super excited to try things the correct way. I don't know. So I'll be knitting that soon, like really soon, probably with the colors that I bought for this swatch. But a lot of these colors were part of this kit that I also purchased, and it's called the Yule Mori beret or beanie. And so there's a project card. Let me get that out of the light. And it's like really rich. I'm gonna say they have like almost a fruitcake type feel to them. So I used some of this, and anyway, it's almost like I talk about Victorian Christmas stuff a lot, like the whole red and mauve, and I don't know, like, they're just lovely colors to me, and this kit just really appealed to me. So these are the colors that came in the kit, and so I'll be making that beanie and probably some matching mitts. I don't know if I'll do the beanie or the beret. And actually, if you have an opinion on that, let me know. I do have a lot of berets, and I do wear berets I don't know, but I feel like beanies are like a little more flexible, but I do like braids. They're so cute. Anyway, these are my colors. I'll be casting that on very soon, and super excited about it. And I think a lot of the, like, I've always loved color work, and I think a lot of the appeal of color work and Fair Isle also is I like using up little bits. And I think these projects kind of give you that opportunity to like mix and match and put little like accents of other colors in. And I don't know, I just think it's just fun. It's just super fun. It's the kind of knitting that appeals to me most is Fair Isle knitting, and color work knitting just in general, not necessarily Fair Isle. Anyway, and so this kit also came in this bag, which is super special because Gudrun's daughter designed it, and I just think that's so cool. What a sweet thing, you know. And especially as you know, my daughter's growing up, and our relationship is kind of maturing, and I don't know, like it's just special to me. So anyway, super excited about that. And I saw that this kit had come out, and I saw it, you know, I think it was a couple of months ago, and I was super intrigued by it, but I didn't order it. I did get her kit last year and loved knitting that. That's like one of my favorite things I knit last year, or whenever I ended up knitting it. But I didn't order it, but I didn't really think about it too much after that because I was so focused on not ordering anything, even though I did. But when I got to Acer, which is essentially my local yarn shop, even though it's 3 hours away, she had the kits, and she also had something else that has been in the back of my mind, but I thought this is the right way to purchase things. This is within my values and my intention. And as I talked about last time, anytime I'm going to enhance my stash, meaning bringing yarn in, it's going to be because of an experience or something that's moving in a value aligned way with me. So this instance is I had a great day with friends, and I made new friends, and I learned new things, and I got to meet somebody who I have really admired for many years. And it was just such a great thing that I kind of don't really have a problem with spending the money that I spent or getting the yarn that I got, because I know like this is how I want knitting to be for me. I want it to be about experience and about being in the moment, and I don't know, using great materials and supporting lovely businesses. And so Acer, I'll link, I won't link anything. I never link anything because people are particular about that, and Google exists. Okay, let me move my water first so I don't spill water on everything. Okay, so this book came out, and I instantly wanted it, but I wanted to buy it in person, and the last few times I've been to Acer, she was out, but this time she had it, and I was able to get it signed this time, so that makes it even more better. And so maybe one day I'll meet Mary J. Munklestone and she can sign it too. That would be really cool. So in this book, when I got it, I instantly, like, since Gudrun was there, I wanted to like run by a color idea with her of what I wanted to do. And instantly I went straight to, oh my gosh, the very first project in here is called the Cake Fridge Hat. And it was one of the first things that appealed to me, like when the book was released and I was looking through the projects in it, which is what I do on Ravelry. Anytime I want to see a book, I just go to Ravelry and I look at all the projects, and then I look at other people's projects, you know, using those patterns. But so this is the hat. And I mean, you can kind of tell, like, this book is so cool. You can kind of see like the inspiration. It's just a beautiful, like, amazingly well-made book and gorgeous. So I picked out some colors for that, and then I got enough of the main color to make a matching cowl. I think I'm going to do that. I think it's the Haslock cowl. which is another Gudrun pattern. And I may even have enough for mitts too. Like, this yarn like really stretches, and I love matchy sets. I'm like super geeky about matchy sets. Anyway, it was also a trunk show, so there were so many garments around the store, and they were styled so beautifully, and I was very inspired. There's another cardigan in here called the Riggy's cardigan, which a lot of Gudrun's garter stitch patterns, like there's like a series essentially, and they're called the Riggy's, and there's a cardigan in there that I know I would wear it every single day, and I do have the yarn for that. I also have been thinking about doing, sorry, there's a truck outside being weird, as trucks are. There's several like color work garments that I want to make, and being a person of my size and knowing that I'm going to have to steek something, because I would wear a cardigan over a pullover, it makes me nervous. You know, my issues entirely, you know, about my body, that has nothing to do with anything, you know, whatever. It just makes me a bit like nervous. But now it's, I don't know, I'm at the age and the place now where I care less and less every day about flattering or what other people think of me, whatever. Whatever. I just want to wear what I want to wear. I'm round. I'm short. I look like a hobbit. And that's okay. Like, I like that. Like, I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I will be making some hobbit-shaped Fair Isle garments very near in the future. And along those lines, this is another book that I wanted to buy in person to support my local store. And the last time I was there, she had one copy, and somebody had it in their hands, and they were walking around with it. So I didn't get it, but this time she had two, and so I got it, and I'm so excited. This is the Act of Sewing, and so Sonia Phillip did the 100 Acts of Sewing project, where she made 100 different dresses, and it was basically like an exercise thinking about, you know, our clothing, what it means to us, fast fashion, you know, making versus buying. Like, I don't know, like there's so much to it. It is a truly, you know, anyway, I'm not going to go into that because many people have for many years now. But Laura, the owner of Acer, was talking about this book explaining, what's it called? The large bust, like adjustment things that you would have to do. And she said that this explains it better than any other like tutorial ever has. And so that really interests me, because I have tried, and I've done certain things like to kind of adjust, because this part of my body is really hard to fit. You know, I have actually quite a long torso compared to my legs. I have a very large bust, and I've got large upper arms. And so, you know, off the rack doesn't fit me very well, but also me sewing my own things doesn't fit me very well. And so I want to get better at that. And I've tried over the years, and anyway, I'm excited to see what this book has to offer and how I can grow and be a better crafter, maker, what have you. So that was it. I mean, I got other stuff, and I got yarn that I'm not going to show you. Once again, that's not why I'm doing this podcast. But yeah, so I wanted to share that day with you. If you've ever taken a class that you've loved, either subject matter or maybe the teacher, just let me know like below, because I think I'm gonna seek those things out a little bit more. Where I live, there's not a whole lot of access to that sort of thing, but if I put in some effort, I can probably get into some more classes and learn more and do better. That's always what we should do. no matter what it is. That sounds kind of like hustle culture. I don't mean it in that way, but there are some things that I'm at peace with doing better at, of pushing myself. Anyway, before we get into that stuff, let's just move on. I don't think I have anything else really to talk about, so we've got a lot of fun things coming up, like symphony, and we're going to try to go. Well, there's a lot of things we're doing, so yeah, it's been great here lately. Life has been really good. The weather is super dry and cold, but not too cold, and so we really need some snow. And I know, that's probably not anything that's interesting to any of you, but anyway, you tell in my throat, it's pretty dry here. But yeah, so I hope you are having a great time. I hope you are enjoying the moments as you can. I'll leave you with this. Yesterday, another wonderful thing we did was go to this little French place in Santa Fe, and the wonderful young lady taking my order at the counter said, "I love your whole look." She's like, "Your glasses, your clothes, everything." She's like, "I love it." And I just thought that was so sweet. Number one, I think that's a nice thing to do. My daughter gets really embarrassed if I compliment strangers, but I think it's a nice thing to do. It made my day, and so I just kind of, I was so excited, and I'm like, thanks. I wake up and I try to be a hobbit. I dress like a hobbit. That's like my goal. And she's like, that is a wonderful way to live your life. And for a long time, it was always just like aesthetics, like this hobbit aesthetic. But it's more than that. Like, I'm so happy to be just cozy and have an occasional adventure, because I'm not the 100% sit at home hobbit, but I do prefer home. I don't know, it just gave me a feeling, a very cozy, accepting feeling, and I'm wishing that feeling for you, whether you're a hobbit or not. Yeah. So that compliment made my day, and so I hope I can pass on those vibes to you guys, and I hope that you are living in a way that makes you feel fulfilled, because I am, and it feels so fucking good. Probably shouldn't have said that, but I don't care. I love you guys. Happy holidays if you celebrate, and stay safe, and I will talk to you soon. Let me know what you're working on below, and yeah, love you guys.